Hi, I'm Maryanne Redpath. I'm head of Berlinale Generation, and it is my very great pleasure today to speak to the director Gerard-Jan Claes. He's from Belgium, and he made the film together with Olivier Rocher, Kind Hearts. And Kind Hearts is screening in Generation 14+ at this year's edition, and we are really happy to have it. It's a documentary with many hybrid elements, and I'm looking forward to have this talk. Okay, so there we are together. Greetings to you. Gerard-Jan, it's really nice to have you here. Many thanks for taking the time, and many thanks for your amazing film. And just to set the ball rolling, I'd like you to tell whoever's listening to this, watching this, something about your film. What is it about? And in few words.
Kind Hearts is, as you said, a hybrid documentary, we could say, and it follows Billie and Lucas, a young couple, in their first year after secondary school, when they go to university. And the film focuses on how they, as a couple, experience that big change in their life, and also how they look at their relationship and how they, the ideas they have of their relationship, how that changes through time. And yeah, I think that sums it up shortly. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good start. So I think to give the audience a little more idea, we're going to show some clips that you have prepared and sent to us, and we will talk about each one in between. So let's see the first clip together.
Check dit, Billie. De kapper heeft haar gezicht afgedaan, denk ik.
Ze heeft daar gewoon niks afgedaan.
Ja, hè. Het is gewoon normaal.
Plus dat is het lelijkste deel.
Billie, maar ik ben nog onzekerder.
Je hebt hier een keihard krul. Mag ik het eens knippen? Mag ik dat gewoon knippen? Ja, echt. Vertrouw je me?
Okay, that was the first clip. What I see there is two people who know each other intimately well, and who have trust in each other. The two characters you have introduced, they're introduced in this film. Obviously you have a close relationship with your figures, your characters, and as we've mentioned before, it's a documentary setting. So how did you... in this scene, for instance, was it set up? Was it an incidental scene? How did you make it happen?
I think the way that Olivia and I make films, the starting point is always looking at people, you could say. So a love for observation. From the very beginning, the idea was to make a film about a couple. And we had some abstract ideas, you could say, also about this idea or this link between fiction and love, you could say. But from that point on, we went looking for characters. So we spent some time in a couple of schools, and then we met Billie and Lucas. And I think a lot of documentary filmmakers, they're quite used to do a lot of research. Now, research means often to work without a camera. And for us, research actually is quite the opposite. We start filming immediately because we're interested immediately to see how they become an image, how they respond to our presence. And also because although there's an abstract point of attack or starting point, I think there's purely from the start not a real idea where the film will be going. So there's a certain open attitude that we keep, which is still instigated by a certain fascination for these two characters. So in the beginning of the process, this is a shot that we actually shot quite early in the shooting period. It's yeah, it's mostly about looking at them and about bringing them to certain locations and trying to let them speak about certain things, and from those observations something new can arrive. So yeah, I think this scene is quite is in that sense quite it came about quite classically as a documentary shot. But as you will see in the film, the scene that comes after it, which is still in the park, yeah, that's something that we set up, and that's something that we had an idea about beforehand. So, but without that first shot, also the second scene would not be there. So it's a little bit like a chain. Like one thing happens, you gather some material, and then it gives you an idea for a next thing, and slowly you start constructing your film. So yeah.
So let's see the next clip in that respect, because yeah, we have it will bring more into that conversation as well on a visual sense. So clip number 2, please.
Weet je, ik heb je gevraagd of hij wil samenwonen.
Echt?
Maar ik weet niet of ik dat eigenlijk serieus bedoelde, maar ik wou gewoon zien wat zijn reactie was.
Wat was zijn reactie?
Hij wil dat niet.
Nee. Oei.
Maar ja, ik weet niet. Ik had daar gewoon aan gedacht, omdat ik dacht van... Ja, sommige mensen doen dat toch. Maar... Ja.
Maar op kot dan samen of?
Ja, maar eigenlijk denk ik dat ik dat een beetje raar zou vinden.
Ja.
En ik denk dat dat leuker is om met je vrienden op kot te gaan.
Of met je vrienden en met hem.
Ja, dat zou ik raar vinden, denk ik.
Okay, so that was clip number 2. We see a kind of a progression here. Well, I do anyway. In the first clip, we had the two of them being together and being very familiar and trusting with each other. The second clip, we have Billie thinking about pondering on the idea of moving in together and worrying a little bit about it. Was this scene also improvised? Was it set up, or how did you work with that particular one?
This was a scene that we shot quite late in the process. As I said before, there's a scene before where they actually discuss moving in together. And as I said, we love to gather material and then start constructing. So we also start editing quite early. And after, I think, a couple of months already of editing, we felt that we missed a scene where Billie would discuss this notion of living together, also this notion of the big change that is about to come in the next year, that she could discuss it with a friend. And then, so this scene was actually quite staged in that sense. But then at that point, we also had we found a way of working with them which was quite efficient. So Olivia and I, we shoot a lot, so there's a lot of trial and error. You could even say that the way that we work with those two characters is even this sense of workshop, you could say. So we try a scene and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. But at this point, they were so used to the process, and we were also quite, we had a very clear idea about what we wanted, that there was a very beautiful efficiency in the shooting of this process. So when we arrived, we just talked with Billie, look, there's a scene that we would like to do where you and Roman would discuss that you discussed with Lucas, the idea about living together, and then we tried a couple of takes, and then we narrowed it down each take. So yeah, that's how this scene came about.
That's so interesting, because it sounds like so much did happen in the edit in the end, that you had that also the process that the two characters were undergoing in analyzing and talking about their relationship and trying to understand what the next steps are, that you brought many scenes in as time went on, as things developed. And I think it's a really interesting organic way to work, and obviously had so much to do with trust and respect of your subjects, getting the material from them that you need to make your film. They are the resource that you're working with the whole time. So let's look at the next clip. It's the third one, and I think it's a very special one. There's a couple of wonderful nuances in this clip that's coming up in the restaurant.
Ik vind dat gewoon echt niet genoeg om zo dit op te geven. Ik begrijp je standpunt en waarom dat je liever meer ruimte wilt hebben en zo, maar je weet dat ik van je hou en dat is gewoon raar om te horen dat je blijkbaar andere dingen wilt dan gewoon bij elkaar zijn en dat is wat ik wil, snap je? Ik weet dat het niet allemaal perfect is en zo, maar ik ben wel zo... Ik wil daar wel gewoon aan werken of zo. We kunnen dat ook aanpassen binnen de relatie, toch?
Ben je nog verliefd op mij?
Ja, ik denk het wel.
Ah, so beautiful. It's amazing, so tender. I think you have, you show me all through the film that you are very fond of the people, of the young people you are working with. You are gentle with them, you work gently with them, and the title is suggesting that kind heart. So I feel the kindness in the way you shoot, and also it's the feeling as if the camera is embracing them all the time and going gently and allowing them that space to say and to do and to be as they are. And I think it's really wonderful. Is that something you just do organically, or is it a decision that you make to work with them like that?
I think the shortest answer, I think it's something that happens very organically. I think it has much to do with the way that Olivia and I love to look at people. It's also something, as you said, it's about trust, and it's also something very delicate, especially in this film. It's about the material that you work with is super intimate. It's about two people sharing facts about their lives, about their relationship, and the fact that they trusted us in working with us and trying to really make a film and staging also certain aspects of their lives is really a gift to us. So I think we take it as our task also to not be manipulative and to keep a certain to set up an image that gives them space also, that gives them a certain that gives them space.
Yes, and it comes across for the audience. It's super moving because you flow through the film as they are flowing together, and you know that it's a film, but you get so drawn into it by this, what you're talking about. So once again, congratulations. We have clip number 4 coming up, one of my favorite clips. Just by the by, your film is absolutely quotable. There are so many pearls coming out of the mouths of these young protagonists, and this is I will tell you the pearl. I like it afterwards. So let's see the 4th clip, please.
Ik weet gewoon niet wat de oplossing daarvoor is, snap je? Zij heeft al zo een paar keer gesuggereerd van, kunnen we het niet beter uitmaken, maar...
En wil jij dat ook?
Maar in het begin wou ik dat echt niet, snap je? Dat ik zo ben van, komen overwinnen dat gewoon en het is gewoon een slechte periode, maar... Nu begin ik dat zo meer redelijk te zien of zo. Maar dat is niet wat ik wil, snap je? Maar dat is wel... Dat zet mij wel aan het denken.
Ja, maar je moet er niet mee blijven zitten of zo.
Nee, facts.
Allee, jullie zijn al zo lang samen, dat is al zo'n dat ik weet niet, nurtured relatie. Dat zou jammer zijn als je dat nu gewoon zo in deze trend laat verder gaan. Maar soms moet je ook een beetje rationeel naar de situatie kunnen kijken.
Ja, wel, dat was het probleem. Ik was echt niet...
Maar dat is normaal.
Ik dacht echt niet redelijk, snap je?
Dat is echt normaal. Liefde killt echt alle rationaliteit. Dat is literally what it does.
Yeah, so there's my quote. Love kills rationality. That's literally what it does. It's a really strong moment in the film. Of course, this is another character that you bring in to discuss the situation, and with every discussion, with every situation, they develop a little bit more, and things change and go on and glide along. But love does kill rationality. I think it's such a amazing, wise, saying. It's something that I will never forget. Great dialogue. The character that is introduced in this scene, she is a musician, and I think music plays a big part in the film, in the structure in the film, in the guiding through the film. Could you speak to that at this stage?
Yeah, I think it's in that sense, as I said before, although there is a certain abstract desire in the beginning when we start off, I think the process of making the film is still quite documentary. So the fact that Lucas is a producer, makes music together with Charlotte, was not something that we invented, and it's something that came on our path. But I think it's a nice way also, I think it's a nice way of also to experience how these youngsters give form to certain emotions, and how to like quite literally, like how they make pop music, and how they try to look for words to certain experiences that they have. So for us as filmmakers, I think it becomes material in a composition, and I think it's the task, or the challenge for us was just to balance it, and that it didn't flip, or that it didn't turn out to be a soundtrack, that it kept something real in their lives. So that was quite a challenge in the editing. So yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah, but the musical part is not a soundtrack. I recognize that, but it does give you the guide, and as you say, I really recognize, because I see many films about young people and love and coming of age and growing up and questioning all sorts of things concerning that, and quite often there are no words for it to express what's going on inside of you, and music is certainly, and the creation of music as well, or dance, is a way in which you express what's going on inside, and the way in which you have used for the film to express what's going on as an extra layer. Very nice. We're coming to the last clip, and it's for me, it's like the cliffhanger clip. We don't know as an audience how things are going to turn out, so let's watch that clip and talk about it afterwards. Clip number 5, please.
Doen?
Ik kan echt niet pauzeren, want je bent weg aan het kijken, maar je bent zo.
Heb je al ingeschreven?
Voor volgend jaar?
Ja.
Nee, nog niet.
Ik denk dat er veel zou veranderen. Ik vraag me af welk effect dat zou hebben op ons.
Ons twee bedoel je?
Ja.
We gaan gewoon meer tijd met elkaar hebben, toch?
Dat is waar, maar we gaan ook nieuwe mensen leren kennen. Ik bedoel dat niet zo.
Wat? Hoe dan? Nu leer je ook nieuwe mensen kennen.
Niet zo, toch?
Wonderful. It's so tender and cool at the same time, and so exploring still. I believe that happens somewhere towards the end, because she's gone on a journey and she's kind of beginning to draw back, and he's still questioning, and that she is too, and they are so familiar with each other that they can talk about anything. And that beautiful, beautiful little nuanced gesture at the beginning when he says to her, oh, you have that look on your face, you have that little look on your face, and he does it. It's so indicating what an intimacy they still have, even through this whole journey. So, yeah, as I said, it's a cliffhanger. As an audience, and that's where I come from, watching the film, I think, oh, would it be so great if they could stay together? But they've done a lot of analysing throughout the film, trying to express their feelings, and maybe that is that rationality which will kill love in the end. Really, really wonderful. Wait and see feeling. Maybe you'll make the next film and show us what happens in their lives afterwards. I don't know. Congratulations for that. And is there anything else you'd like to tell viewers or tell me just about the film, about your process before we have to draw to an end? Or put it this way: how would you before people have seen your film, how would you introduce the film to them? What would you like them to look out for or prepare themselves before they watch it?
I think an important aspect of the film is also that I think we're quite familiar with love stories that are often bigger than life, that are often dramatic. I think a certain part of the kindness of the film is that it's also that the film tries to look at a very daily love story, something that is quite recognizable. So a lot of the film, so in that sense, about discovering things, and I think as an audience you get the most of the film if you allow yourself to look at the details. I think to look how they really look at each other, to look how they relate to each other, but also how the film is composed on a very precise and detailed way. Yeah. And
what do you wish audiences to take with them when they go out of the film?
I think also there, in the sense of not being too manipulative. I think a lot of love stories often have a moral plan or a moral agenda. I think the film leaves a certain openness where it allows every spectator to, in a way, make it an individual experience. I think the few people that saw the film gave a very specific and unique reaction to it, and they bring their own views and desires to the film. I think that's the most generous and most grateful reaction for us. I think that's the reaction we were hoping for. Yeah.
Thank you. That's so rich. We could talk for a long time, I'm sure. I hope you can come to Berlin in the end, and that we will be able to celebrate the premiere of the film at Generation 14+ very soon. Festival's coming up soon. Congratulations once again on your film. I wish you and a good journey with it, and altogether best regards to your partner, Olivier Rocher, who did the direction together with you. And yes, thank you very much for this talk. I look forward to continuing it when we meet in person. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.